People are moving to the Northeast Metro Atlanta area in droves. The amenities are great, it's more affordable than a lot of other states, the schools are strong, and the list goes on. But let's be real, living here is not perfect. There are some things about the area that just don't work for everyone. Hi, I'm Sarah Maslowski, and I'm a local real estate agent who moved to the Metro Atlanta area over 10 years ago, and my team and I help people just like you make this move. So let's talk about what it's actually like to live in the Northeast Metro Atlanta area and what you need to know before making the move. Let's start with the biggest surprise for most people, that is the cost of housing. Homes here are far more expensive than you might think. The average sales price across the greater Atlanta area is $557,000, but in some of the most desirable towns, that number jumps way up. For example, Alpharetta is around $864,000. Suwanee is slightly more affordable at $767,000, and well, Johns Creek is just over $900,000. You're paying for top schools, large homes, and strong community amenities. When it comes to the amenities of houses here in Georgia, you can expect to find a lot of homes in neighborhoods with HOAs. Now, a lot of these HOAs are going to include things like swimming pools, playgrounds, tennis, pickleball courts. Those are pretty much the norm for a lot of HOA communities here. And typically the range of the fees for those HOAs are going to range between $800 to $1,200 per year. Sometimes you will find HOAs with less dues every year, and typically that's representative of the fact that it doesn't have as many neighborhood amenities. So maybe they just keep up with the entrance and the, flowers at the front of the entrance. That is pretty typical of what you're going to find here in neighborhoods with HOAs. And you're going to find a ton of parks around here as well. So one of the things that you'll find is that you're going to have opportunities to go for nature trails and meet up with friends at the park to take advantage of the playgrounds, sports fields, all the things that you would want to find here in the area, you're going to be able to find. If you're looking for something a little bit more affordable, you're going to need to go further out to towns like Grayson, which is located in the eastern part of Gwinnett County, where the average price is $460,000. Or in the heart of Gwinnett in Lawrenceville, which is around $428,000, or you've got Decula, which is $507,000. Or you can even go as far north as here in Gainesville, where the average sales price is just under $500,000. But here's some good news. Georgia has relatively low property taxes, about 1% of the sales price. That helps make things a little bit more affordable, especially compared to most northern states where you're paying 10 times what you're paying here. But if you're coming from places like South Carolina, where you can still find homes between $100,000 to $300,000 range, those kind of prices just do not exist here in Georgia. So it makes home prices feel a lot more expensive, and that all is relative depending upon where you're coming from.
Run it up.
Let's talk about new construction, because there is a lot of it, but not in every town. You're not going to find brand new neighborhoods in places like Johns Creek, Alpharetta, or Suwanee. Those towns are already built out. To find more affordable new construction options, you are going to need to look further out in towns like Gainesville, Brazelton, and Cumming. These areas still have available land, which also keeps prices lower. Now, one thing that you're going to notice when you go a little bit further out is that the school rankings, which often draws a lot of people in, ends up being a little bit different compared place to place. In areas like Cumming, which is located in Forsyth County, you've got really highly ranked schools. But if you look in areas like Gainesville, which is located in Hall County, you're going to see some mixed results. But here's what surprises a lot of people. There's a big difference between what's considered highly rated online and what locals actually value. Take Hall County, where Gainesville is located. It has strong programs like International Baccalaureate, which is known as IB, and locals really respect the schools here. There aren't a ton of private schools here in the Metro Atlanta area because families generally send their kids to public school systems because they trust them so much. But don't rely solely on online rankings. Join local Facebook groups. Ask people who live here. You might find that a school with a lower rating is actually a better fit for your child. Some of the top-rated schools are so competitive that they can become stressful environments. In fact, a lot of my clients that I've spoken to recently have stated that they don't want to have their kids in these highly ranked schools because of the competitive, stressful environment. Another hard truth about living in the Metro Atlanta area is that it is extremely car dependent. Unless you live right in a downtown district, and very few people do, you're going to need a car to get around. Walkability is rare. Towns like Alpharetta have small pockets where you can walk to restaurants or schools, but those homes come with a serious price tag. Think areas near the Avalon or downtown Alpharetta where townhomes start in the upper 800,000s. Or the charming neighborhood of Vickery and Cumming where you have the most adorable village complete with restaurants, boutiques, and doctor's offices, and the starting price of homes here are around $900,000 and quickly go upwards. It's not like parts of the Midwest or older metro areas where walking to the coffee shop or school is the norm. And since most of these towns are still growing, things can still feel very spread out. In many cases, you're gonna drive 15 to 20 minutes to get to a shopping center or a mall. If you need a Costco, that's probably gonna be another 20 to 30 minutes drive into another town, depending upon where you live. We only have two in the metro Atlanta area, in Beaufort and Cumming. If you want to live close to everything, top schools, stores, restaurants, you're going to pay for it. A lot of this has to do with the fact that Northeast Metro Atlanta area is still a relatively new area. It's growing fast, there's lots of new infrastructure, new neighborhoods, and ongoing development is everywhere. You're not gonna find many 100-year-old homes here. Almost everything was built in the 80s and 90s and 2000s. Another thing that you need to know here is that public transit doesn't really exist because it hasn't had time to develop, and because the area is so car dependent, there's not a huge demand for public transit. And yes, many of the neighborhoods here are gonna feel like cookie cutter subdivision. But here's the flip side. You do get bigger homes, modern layouts, and fewer renovations to worry about with the newer home. That growth is also why things feel so spread out right now. But as more businesses and development come, which it's happening everywhere, this is going to improve. Finally, another hard truth about living in Metro Atlanta area is the weather. It is hot and it is humid. We are filming this on a hot summer morning and it's not even 10 o'clock yet and I'm already sweating. And apparently that's surprising to some buyers. Georgia is a very humid state. We have got tons of moisture in the air. This past year was one of the rainiest we've had in a long time, and the humidity makes the winters feel colder, but we rarely get snow. You're gonna experience all 4 seasons here, which is definitely a plus. As someone that moved from South Georgia to North Georgia, this is something that I absolutely love about living here. Another plus is that we don't have to deal with many natural disasters. Yes, there's the occasional tornado, but the North Metro Atlanta area, because of the topography, weather patterns, we don't tend to get many tornado touchdowns. So yes, Northeast Metro Atlanta has a lot to offer, but it's not perfect. So while Northeast Metro Atlanta area has a lot to offer, there are definitely some drawbacks. It's not as affordable as what it once was. You definitely have some hot, humid summers to deal with. You definitely need a car. There's not a ton of walkability, and you're going to have some flexibility on areas that you are looking for when it comes to new construction. However, there's a lot of perks about living here. In fact, we've made a ton of videos on this channel showing off all the great places there are to live here in the Northeast Metro Atlanta area. If you're thinking about making a move here, my team and I would love to help you. You're gonna find my contact information directly below this video to get connected with us. And for more information about what it's like living here, make sure you check out this video next.